Should you get inspections before you buy a property? Now, this may be a question that seems pretty obvious, but believe it or not, a lot of real estate investors do not do this. And in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about a recent purchase that I have that basically an inspection ended up coming in really, really handy. Let's dive in. All right, so whenever we're talking about buying properties as investments, the question of inspections come up quite often. Like new investors are like, if I'm spending the money to get inspections, there's more than just one type of inspection too. Like you've got obviously above, inside of the house, you've got things that you need to get inspected. You've got roofs, you've got HVAC systems. And one of the big things that I run into a lot here in South Carolina is crawl space issues. Oh my goodness, we're in the South. It's hot, there's a lot of moisture, things are sticky, we got termites, we got all these things going on. And different markets, obviously, there are going to be different kind of challenges. But for example, when we're talking about deals here, a lot of times older houses are going to have these issues under the house that you don't see unless you're crawling underneath the house. And I know that there was a time that I would do that, but I'm not really into crawling under houses anymore. And so I had a recent purchase that I made, and we just closed on it the other day. But the deal was I made an offer on the property. We got it under contract, and I made the offer based on what was going on inside of the house and looking at the roof. It's actually had a brand new roof, which was pretty nice. I knew I was going to have to put in new HVAC and ductwork and that sort of thing. But one of the things that I decided I wanted to make sure we did was get a crawl space inspection. And so sent the guy out there. He ended up going in and inspected the crawl space for me. It's one of the guys that matter of fact, a college friend, and I use him in his company quite a bit. And when he went in there and he inspected it, he found all sorts of things going on. First of all, underneath it had powder post beetles, which are a nuisance here in the South particularly, and also it had termite damage and active termites. So that right there is obviously a big problem, and getting that treated, depending on where you are and everything, you might spend, call it $2,500, to have that stuff taken care of and treated. But there was also other problems that was going on. There were actually seals underneath the house that were rotted. There was some issues of some subfloor that was rotted due to moisture damage and potential termite issues. And there was a couple floor joists that ultimately would need to be replaced. So had I not done that inspection, or had I not crawled underneath the house myself, had we not done that, we would not have known that that was going to be something in addition that we were going to have to deal with. Now, usually I kind of anticipate for older houses that we're going to have to put some money into the crawl space. So I kind of had an idea and I'd factor that in. But I did not factor in as much issues were going on as it was. And so what I ultimately had to end up doing was going back and renegotiating with it was actually an on-market listing, believe it or not, renegotiating with the real estate agent. And in this particular deal, I'm not involved as much in the acquisitions anymore, but this particular deal, I actually was involved because I had sent out some offers just to kind of generate some activity. I was bored on a weekend and sent out some offers and got this offer accepted. So moral of that story is you can still get deals on market, and that's proof. But the property had been sitting for a while and obviously had some issues going on. So I sent out that offer. So I was involved in the negotiation on this one. And once that came to light, I decided that based on the margins and everything, that we were going to probably end up walking away from the deal. And so I let the agent know, very nice lady. And at the end of the day, she said, well, what can you guys do? He's motivated. And so I ended up countering our original offer, and I dropped it by almost $30,000. And that immediately, was met by not going to be able to do that. And I said, totally understand, makes sense. And I actually sent a copy of the report that showed all the issues in the crawl space. And from there, she reached back out, and there was some continued negotiation going on. And finally, after everything was said and done with, we ended up landing at a number that was $23,000 below what my accepted offer was. Now, there's a lot of people out there, and this is totally depending on how you want to run your business. I try my best when we make an offer. We really do try to stick to that number. I don't personally like to go back and renegotiate with people. I try to get it at the best price point that we can get it and try to stick to that. Because of that, I would say that there are a lot of times we lose deals to competitors who go in and offer a price point knowing that they're going to reduce their offer. So depending on your strategy, everybody's different, and I don't judge anybody on how they, if they want to kind of renegotiate, that's up to them. We really do try to give a real number, not go back and renegotiate. But in this case, it was obvious that with the issues going on under the house, that our number would need to change because of all of that extra cost. And so we renegotiated, and the moral of the story is, had I not had that crawl space inspection, would the deal have still ended up, would we have got the deal? I don't know. Maybe, probably not. You could kind of debate that. But I do know that the fact that we had an inspection done, we were able to send her the information that she showed to her seller. I believe that ended up allowing us to get this deal. And so not only is it important, particularly as a new investor, I strongly recommend you get inspections as a new investor. Now, the thing about it is you don't have to pay for these inspections on any deal that you're making offers on. You only would pay for the inspection when you're in your due diligence period. And so if you're offering a number, factoring in repairs and maintenance and that sort of thing, and all the things you're going to need to do, if you offer a number that's pretty close to what you think and they accept it, then that hopefully is a good deal. And then you get your contractors in there and your inspectors in there, and that's when you really have to determine whether or not, after you've done your due diligence, if it makes sense. So it's number one, it's going to protect you from investing in a deal that's not a good deal. But number two, as in this situation, you also are able to use those inspections as a tool to renegotiate. And so, I don't know, had I not had that inspection, maybe they would have just assumed I was trying to beat them up, and that would have been that, and they would have said no, and we would have, wouldn't have got the deal. But because I had that supporting documents to say, hey, look, here's what's going on, they ended up accepting. Now this deal, there's a lot of other things going on, but I'd already factored in with my offer, replacing HVAC system, having to rewire the house and do some of these other things. That was already factored in. But that crawl space, I was able to really bring my old overall offer and get this and make it a great deal. So I encourage you to do that. If you are interested in learning how to invest in real estate, if you're somebody new that's watching this channel or has been watching this channel, for a limited time, I have a course on real estate investing. It is absolutely currently free. I'm probably going to end up eventually charging, but it's currently free right now. So if you're watching this video, hopefully, maybe in the future it costs something, but right now, if you're watching this video, I'm giving it away for free. It's literally 2.5 hours that you can sit down, you can watch it, you can take notes, and you can gather a lot of knowledge. So if you're interested in the free course, I'm going to put that link in the description below so you can have that. Also, I have some free goodies that I give away. You can go, I'll put a link in there as well where you can go and you can check out a couple of my other freebie things that I'm offering. But if you haven't taken action, you need to take action. Don't wait. Let 2026 be the year, if you haven't started yet, that you do get started. So as always, I appreciate you watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.